Whatever you do, just stay true and show passion. When you talk, be precise.
I took a flight for the paddock. You said, be oh so dramatic. I guess anything you want.
Hey guys, what's up? My name's Janae. You can call me Nan. Today I want to talk to you about pre-op at Vixen plastic surgery. I hope that one thing you see and notice about me is that in my videos, like, we're gonna get straight to the point. And I don't believe, like, I just feel like people were just doing too much. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go. My pre-op experience at Vixen. So pre-op is the day before your actual surgery, and you do not see the doctor at pre-op. Like, you don't. So I get a ride to Vixen, and they tell me a time the night prior to be there, which was like 10 a.m. And as I'm walking up, I literally see Dr. Triggs. We're about to get in the same elevator. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, hey, you want to take a picture? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, you're going to be doing my surgery. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. He's like, I end up seeing people all the time before then. And we took a picture. I'm going to try to actually put it up here so you guys can see. But anyways, so I get there and I open the door and the waiting room is full. This building in which Vixen is in is like a business building. It's not like a surgical center. It's not like a medical area. Like, it literally looks like doctor's offices should be here, like a primary care office. Like, not like, oh, you're doing invasive surgery where people can actually, like, not wake up from it. So yeah, so when I walk out the elevator, once I get to the floor, because it's on the 8th floor, there's people waiting, like, in the hallway. But I'm thinking, like, oh, they're not here for Vixen because, you know, it's just post-op. I open the door and the whole room is full. All these girls are waiting. There's girls who are waiting for their post-op appointment. There's girls who are waiting for their actual surgery. There's girls who have book bags and who just came straight from the airport, and I'm so confused. So I check in. They make me sign like 11,000 papers. One thing I will say about the papers, which is very, very strange, on the papers, they actually say, like, oh, just so you know and you're aware, basically your doctor is allowed to have someone else work on you during your procedure. Or like the papers were saying, I wish I took a picture of it now. The papers were stating that someone else could be working on you during your procedure, but under the supervision of your doctor. And you had to sign consent for that. Thought that was very strange. You sign consent like for HIPAA, you sign like, you know, basic consent like allergies, emergency contacts, stuff like that. It was a lot of papers. They asked you what procedure you were getting done, what were your main concerns. They asked about, there's papers about like your payment plan, I believe, but I didn't do a payment plan. I paid cash, so I think I just skipped over that one. There were papers stating already, even though I had never even talked to anyone other than the front desk lady, oh, please sign here stating that you received your post-op instructions. So I left those blank because I didn't receive nothing. Like, so that's what a lot of the paperwork was like. So after I finished the paperwork, I went back to the desk, gave it to her, and then they called me back maybe 2 hours later to do urine and drug. They actually come in the bathroom with you, by the way, which was very strange because, I mean, I don't smoke or anything, so I don't really never had to do a drug test outside of work. But I've never had someone just literally stand in there and watch you, and it was very hard to do that in that case. So then they start turning on the water and they're like waiting, and I'm just sitting there like trying to go on the toilet. It was really awkward, but they do the urine pregnancy test and they do a drug screen after you give them your paperwork, and then you go back out and you sit in the waiting room. And I was sitting there, and I'm watching like other girls go in, and I'm still sitting there, and the room, there's becoming less people in the room, yes, but like the room was at max capacity as well as the hallway when I walked in for my appointment at noon. Like, that's ridiculous. And my doctor was walking in at noon. So I really don't understand how they scheduled that. I wish they would have told me to come later. I ended up leaving pre-op at 4:35 p.m. Mind you, I did not see a doctor. So, like I said, so after they did my urine, blah, 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 I go back to sit again. They called me maybe an hour later. Like, don't even bother asking them how long it's going to take because they don't know. Like, I just feel like the staff there is like kind of like almost like incompetent. Like, they don't give you any answers. Like, and don't lie to me. Just, like, I'd rather you just tell me you don't know. Like, stop BSing me. Like, because it's pissing me off even more. So then I get called back to go into a room. At about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I get called back to go into a room. And now she wants to talk about, she gives me this paper. Oh, I'm going to get the paper. Yeah, actually, I don't have it, but I'll screenshot it and put it in at the end. She gives me this paper. It's like, you know, lipo instructions, like pre-op. When I say that this paper, it was illegible. You can't read it. Like, the font was so blurred on the paper. So I was like, I can't read this. She'll go, oh, this is just your pre-op instructions. Okay, well, I should be able to read this. So now she's talking me through each bullet. I mean, obviously she's familiar with it, but I'm not. When I say that, like, plastic surgery in Miami, or at least at Vixen, is one of those things where it's like, you need to know everything before you go there, because they're not going to tell you nothing. They don't care. They're not going to tell you nothing. They're going to assume you know everything, which is very poor, because, I mean, that's very horrible. That can lead to poor patient outcomes just by us not knowing certain things that maybe we didn't think to look up. So she gives me these pre-op instructions, you know, no jewelry, no this, no that, no eating after midnight. I'm like, okay. I sign another paper, and then she asked me again. She's like, what procedure are you going to do? I said, I'm doing lipo 360. I have been wanting, after being on the surgery group pages on Facebook, I have been debating about adding some fat. So I asked her about it, and she was like, yeah, you could do it. And I was like, well, I want to talk to the doctor first, because I want to see if he can give me the look that I want, though. If he can't give me this look because half of the fat is going to die anyway, I'm not going to waste my money. Just give me my lipo. That's what I signed up for anyway. She's like, oh, no, he can do it. How would you know? Like, that's when I say, like, the staff, like, they're just, like, incompetent. Like, because you don't know. You don't know, because you're not a surgeon. Just because you've seen multiple pictures of his work before, it doesn't mean that you know what he's capable of doing. Just because I've seen Dr. Triggs' Instagram doesn't mean that if I ask for something that maybe isn't on his Instagram frequently, that I'm competent he could do it. You understand? It's just a reach. So anyway, so I ended up adding on a fat transfer, so basically BBL, at the time of pre-op. It was $1,000 extra. And so once we signed that paperwork, she went and redid like 2 forms, came back, and then told me to go back in the waiting room. Now I'm annoyed. So I'm in the waiting room, right? And there's this office right across from Vixen on the same floor. And this white man in the office is obviously like not a fan of people of color, because every time he would come out like of the office, it looked like he was just coming out just to like see who was still in the hallway, which it was not our fault that we were in the hallway, because there were so many, the Vixen's waiting room was at capacity, so you could only stand in the hallway. And there was only like one bench to sit at in the hallway. So everyone else was standing, like significant others were standing. Like there were people, like I said, who literally just got off the plane and came to their post-op appointment, to their pre-op appointment. So this white man came out from his business in his little business attire and was just like, so that was just like really disturbing, because it was just like, sir, come on. That's the only really issue I had with actually waiting in the hallway. Other than that, I was minding my business. Everybody was being appropriate in the hallway. There was nothing like going on that was like, hey, like we need to kick them out. But they started telling us like we had to like get away from their door and all that. It's not like they had clients going in, which is why I was confused. But that's one thing that was definitely like a bad taste about just my pre-op experience, besides everything else. So finally, they call me in now to make, actually they don't call me in. Finally, it's 4 o'clock and I go up to the desk and I'm like, listen, my ride's going to be here at 5 and I need to go now. What else do I need to do since I'm not seeing the doctor? She goes, oh, you're just waiting for the payment person. Okay, well, at this point, I'll just pay on a fucking card because I'm not about to wait this long. Oh, no, just go in here. She opens the door for me. She has me sit on the side where the payment person is, like near her desk / office. So the payment person is literally one lady. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is why it's taking so fucking long, because you have one person dealing with all the fucking money and there's like 45 freaking females here. So the payment lady is like, okay, so this is what it is, this is what it is, and this is what it is. At the time, I did not have the debit card that I used to make my deposit a couple months back. I lost that debit card. I had my ID basically stating that, you know, obviously that's my debit card. And I had that debit card on my Apple Wallet, but they would not accept it that way. So she said, I have to refund your deposit to the debit card you used. And she was like, and you can pay it all now. So I didn't understand that because I'm like, you're about to use another card with my name on it still. That was just their policy. So she supposedly put my refund request in, which I haven't heard anything about, but I'll be following up by next week. She put my refund request in, and I paid for everything straight cash. I had booked a Black Friday special, so my special included everything except the fajas and the massages. So like it can include your anesthesia fees, your post-op appointment. I mean, it's really not even like an inclusion. It's just something that it was just a deal at the time that I booked, because Triggs is increasingly getting more popular, so he's really going up in price. From when I was looking at him a while back to when I'm looking at him now, he's really going up in price. So I made my payment in cash. She gave me a paper receipt, and I believe the receipt was also sent to my email. And then that was it for my pre-op appointment. That was literally it. I did not know what time I was supposed to be there till the next day for my actual surgery. They informed me, okay, well, someone's going to text you between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. to give you a time. I needed a morning time. So I was frustrated. I was like, I need a morning time to have my surgery, because my ride I wasn't going to have a ride basically after like 5 p.m. My friend drove from another part of Florida just to stay with me for that day. And then I also flew in with a friend. So the friend I flew in with, we obviously didn't have a car. We weren't planning on getting one. The friend who drove was like, hey, I only have till this time. So I told them that. Oh, well, we don't know. Luckily, at like 6:30 p.m., I got a text saying like, hey, doll, your appointment time/time you need to be at the surgery center is at this time. Please be here then. So I was like, okay. My time I was said to be there was 9:15. I got there 9:30. Yeah. And then that's a whole nother video. So that was my pre-op experience with Vixen. It just was a long wait. I don't know if everyone like had that same experience. It was just really ghetto. It's in a ghetto area. It is a business area, but it is a business like building. So there's a lot of traffic in the parking lot. There's a lot of waiting for the elevator. There's only 2 elevators, and it seemed like one of them never worked. There's a lot of people in and out that building. And even during my pre-op appointment, I meant to add, you see girls getting wheeled out and wheeled downstairs because they just finished surgery. That shit will terrify you. Like if this is your first time and you're already a little nervous, that will really make you be like, because you see these girls being wheeled out and they're like this, halfway with their eyes open. So automatically I'm just thinking like, yo, are they okay? It was giving red flags. I knew that I was going to Miami for the look. I knew that Miami wasn't going to give me the customer service, but I knew that they would give me the look, if that makes sense. And that's something that you really have to debate, like in your pros and cons. Like, do I want the look and for the price, the safety, customer service? If you want the look, price, safety, and customer service, you ain't going to Miami if you want all those things. If you want the look and the price and you don't care about the rest, all right. But yeah, that was my experience. And I'm going to be uploading more as I take this journey. If you're thinking about it, I wouldn't do it again. But kudos to you, baby girl. I will see y'all soon. I'll probably try to upload a video in a couple of days. But that was my pre-op experience at Vixen Plastic Surgery.